So when I think about stories from my mission, I think about Roxy. I met Roxy in my first area. I probably met her a couple of weeks into my mission, actually. She was invited, she was the girlfriend of a boy in the ward who was staying, like his parents were living in a different state, but he was finishing up high school. And so there was another family in the ward that had let him stay there. And so we were over, like we had dinner there, and we met her, and she came to church a couple of times, but she was going to college in Grand Junction, which was like 3 hours away or so. And so she didn't come all the time, and it didn't really make sense to teach her then. But but then, like, at the end of the summer, at the end of the semester, she moved back, and I was still in the area. And my companion at the time, I guess Roxy had gone to church a couple of times since the end of the semester when she'd moved back. And so my companion asked asked her boyfriend, she was like, hey, like, does she want to take the lessons? And he said, I'll ask her. Sounds good. And so then we were able to set up an appointment with her, and we got in there, and it was the first time I had really taught a real lesson. And so, to an investigator who had never heard him before. And so I was really nervous. We were on exchanges that day too. And we taught the lesson, and it seemed to go well. And I just remembered we shared the first vision, and the Spirit was so strong. And my companion asked her to be baptized, and she accepted, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't think it was real life. I was like, this can't happen to me, but it did. And we were able to be there. So 3 weeks later, she got baptized. About a month later, my companion and we left the area. We were both transferred out. She was, like, Roxy was doing amazing. She has a lot of struggles with her family. They weren't too excited about her being a member of the church, or about her switching religions, I guess. That's a common thing with Catholics, but that's probably not a very nice thing to say. But anyway, but so she was the very first person that I got to teach who got baptized, and she was so strong. She was so amazing. We loved her. My companion and I both got transferred out, and let's see. So I'd been in that area for about 6 months. I had gotten transferred to an area in the south of Colorado Springs, and then 2 days later, I was emergency transferred back up to the north of Colorado Springs to work in a young single adult ward, which I did not want to. I did not want to be there. I did not want to serve in a young single adult ward, and I was serving right back pretty much in the same area that I'd been in before. We covered my last ward, and that was really hard for me to be back in the same area, in this place that I didn't want to be. And both my companion and I were new in the area, and I felt so much pressure and so much responsibility. And I remember praying. So I got transferred back on a Friday, and I remember praying on Saturday or Sunday and saying, like, Heavenly Father, like, where, like, am I supposed to be here? Is this really where you wanted me, or is this just the next best option because of the way things turned out? And then on Monday, I got an email from someone saying that Roxy had been kicked out of her home, and that she wasn't able to, and they didn't know where she was. And I was serving in the only ward then where I was serving in the only other ward that I could have been in where I could have gone and helped her, because she was 19, so she was a young single adult. She was living within the boundaries of our ward. And so even though that wasn't the only thing that I had to do there, that was my immediate answer, was that I needed to help Roxy. And so we were able to keep teaching her, and to keep spending time with her, and just watched her grow and flourish, and just everything came at her. And I was just so inspired by how strong she was in this, like in the face of all of these trials. I remember praying for her and being like, Heavenly Father, she just got baptized into your church. Like, why are all of these horrible things happening to her? But she never doubted that he was there. She knew so strongly. And I got to see, I was blessed to see her, like, bear her testimony in church and to speak at a recent convert fireside. And so I knew that she was, I got to hear more about her side of the story and things that were going on when she was going through the conversion process. At the end of my mission, Lizzie, I saw her one other time at Christmas when she came back. And then, because she ended up moving to Provo, to get, because she needed a place to stay. And so she knew that Provo was a good place. She knew that rent was cheaper there than it was in Colorado Springs. And so she moved out there, and she loved it. She flourished. She actually became a second counselor in the Relief Society presidency. And she submitted her mission papers, and she got her mission call to Fort Worth, Texas, Spanish speaking. And I was able to go through the temple with her. Just the way that things worked out, I was able to be in the right area where I could be with her when she got her endowments out. And that was worth every second of my mission. I knew I gained a really strong testimony of Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 18, or section 18, where it talks about, if you shall bring, save be one soul unto God, how great shall be your joy in his kingdom. My whole mission would have been worth it for Roxy. She's down there serving right now, and it's just the greatest feeling to know that I was able to be along her journey with her, I guess. And just, it kind of was I was just with her my whole mission.